You can't spell Rob G without BG.
Bell Gardens in the building, dude. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Got my dude Rob G here, posted up at the park with me. We're gonna talk a little bit about Bell Gardens, man. A city that's near and dear to my heart. I know it's a city that's near and dear to your heart. I see it right there in your hat.
Right there. It's on my leg and it's on my arm.
Oh, no shit. Let me see. There it is.
Right there.
Oh, you see the leg? Oh yeah, that's hard, dog.
Right there.
Damn, man. Yeah, my journey in Bell Gardens started in late 80s. So I got there about 88, 80, I think it was 88. Yeah, it was 88. Yeah, man, crazy. There was like one white family left on the block. I was the only dude who had any black in them, and it was all Latinos, man. And that was where I first fell in love with Latina chicks, because I never saw as many Latinas that I did until I moved to Bell Gardens, and then just the culture and the love everybody showed me. And it's a trip, man. I never got any like racist vibes. Nobody ever, gave me any shit, for being different. We all talk shit like kids did, we all have fun and talk shit. Hey, fuck you, big nose, fuck you, blackie, shit like that. But other than that, it was never any animosity. So Bell Gardens has a very big part of my heart, man. But talk to me about your journey in Bell Gardens, man. When did it start?
Well, since I was born in '89. So the 90s and the 2000s, I was there.
Tell people some of the hood you remember seeing on the walls as you were a kid.
I remember I would see like Bell Garden Locals, Playboy, Notorious. Those are pretty much like the older neighborhoods that I would see.
Junior Mafia was
Junior
one I remember.
Mafia, the King Cobras.
King Cobras.
Fostoria Boys.
Fostoria. Kansas Street,
No,
I'm tripping. That was Maywood, I think.
Yeah, that's Maywood.
Yeah.
But those were the ones I would see as a little kid, and as a teenager, I started seeing more of like the brats. They kind of came over. I remember in school, all the little kids, they would say they were from Bratz or they were for Playboy, because they had older brothers and sisters or whatever. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I grew up in, and I think what kept me out of like neighborhoods and stuff was music. As a little kid, I always had music, because I have two older siblings, so they would listen to all type of music, and one of the music that I really got into was hip-hop, rap. I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when I really got into like listening to music. And the one person I fell in love with was Eazy-E.
Me too. That was the person that made me fall in love with hip-hop in 1988, dog.
Oh,
so probably 12 years before you fell in love with them.
So Eazy-E, like, and then my brother was telling me like, oh, Eazy was from Compton. I'm like, oh man, that's not even that far away from here, So then from there, I wanted to rap. I wanted to be a rapper, but I'm Mexican. They will always be like, oh, you're Mexican, you can't really rap. You're not black. But Eazy-E was my inspiration. Like, I wanted to grow up and be like Eazy. What Eazy did to Compton, that's what I wanted to do to Bell Gardens. So that's why my song, I'm like, you can't spell Rob G without BG. Like, I always try to like mention Bell Gardens in any type of way that I can.
90s and 2000s, man. Give me the good, the bad, and the ugly about growing up in Bell Gardens during your time.
Man, the good, fucking, growing up in Bell Gardens. The bad, you will always see, I remember I was always hear a lot of shooting. I remember there was time when I'll be playing outside with my friends or whatever, and we had to run inside because we just heard people shooting up, down the block or whatever. Me growing up, I grew up in some apartments, so there was always shooting around there. And so and it's kind of sucks, because I was only 6-7 years old, and like I already knew when we would see some of the cholos passing by, we already knew there was going to be something going down. We would just run to the house, and but you know what, I wouldn't change none of that for anything. That's my city, and but yeah, that's just how it was back then. That's how it was in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It was a war zone. It was active.
Yeah, man.
I remember once I was going to a liquor store with my dad, and I saw this fool just passing right next to us with a shotgun. He was about to go shoot some fools on the next block. I think it was Playboys, and I forgot who else. And yeah, it was just active.
Yeah, man. Did you live all over Bell Gardens, or did you grow up in a specific spot?
I grew up on Gotham and Jaboneria. That's pretty much where I grew up at first. Then as a teenager, I went to Comar. I was in Comar. I was in Ira. So I was all over Bell Gardens.
Did you go to BGI or Suva?
I went to BGI.
Okay,
yeah.
it's always the question, right? That's always the first one. Same here, dog.
BGI.
To this day, F Suva. No, right? Just playing. Got love for Suva, just playing.
Yeah, man. I went to elementary, BGE, BGI, and then the high school. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And we still call it the high school. Like, we don't even call it Bell Gardens High School. It's like, hey, you going to the high school?
Yeah.
It's like the high school.
The high school.
It's not even like Bell Gardens High, BGH.
No.
When did you start realizing that you wanted to write and actually create this?
I was young. It was in 2001. I remember I was already like 12 years old. I remember I was like, I want to do this, like, and I remember I started doing little rhymes, and my brother would be like, oh, this shit sucks, like, and I'm like, no, watch, I'm gonna, and that's when I started. It was fucking horrible. Like, I don't remember some of my stuff, but it was, but that's when I decided, like, this is what me growing up, I wanted to be a wrestler. And when I was like 12, 13, that's when I'm like, I want to be a rapper. So it went from trying to be a wrestler all as a little kid to want to be a rapper. And that's what I wanted to do. And I was really shy in middle school. So I wouldn't tell anybody that I wanted to rap or anything, And then I actually stutter a lot. And so I never really liked talking because I stuttered a lot. And I remember when I would tell people, like, oh yeah, I'm a rap, and they're like, how? You fucking stutter, you can't rap. And it just made me want to fucking do it even more. And yeah, when I was in high school, that's when I kind of got more serious about writing and everything. And then right after high school, my first job, I actually raised money so I could buy like a USB microphone, and that's how me and one of my homies started recording. And yeah, that's where it started.
All right, so you have 3 kids, right?
Yes.
What are their names?
Athena, Zarek, and Elena.
Nice. How old are they?
10, 5, and 3.
I'm sure they're your heart.
Yeah, they are.
Probably changed your life like my son changed mine.
Yes.
Saved my life, I should say. I know my son saved my life. Take me back to a week before you were diagnosed with leukemia. What was going on in your life? Like, probably, was it life as normal,
Yeah, it was pretty much right after the holidays. So it was January of 2020. A week before, I was already kind of feeling tired. I was feeling tired. I would tell my wife, like, hey, I can't even fold the laundry. Like, my heart would start beating really fast. And she's like, oh, you should go check it out. I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I just got to sleep it off. That was me. It's just got to sleep it off. And yeah, and it was January 22nd, 20th. That day I went to go pick up my oldest daughter from school, and I took my 2 youngest kids, and we're only like 2 blocks down from the house. I felt like I was gonna faint, and I got to school. I called my wife. I'm like, you know what, I feel like shit. I think you gotta come and pick me up. And then I ended up going back home with the kids, and my oldest like, hey, is something wrong with you? You're sweating a lot. And my wife took me to the ER. They did tests. My blood count was really, really low. They said that I really didn't have any blood in me. One more day and I would have died. And they didn't know what was wrong with me. Then on January 24th was I had to have a bone marrow biopsy, and that's the day I found out that I had leukemia. That's the day that my life changed pretty much. You know, it was hard because my youngest had just turned 1. So I remember it just flashed. I'm like, man, you know, I can't leave them, you know. But everything happens for a reason, you know. One thing about me that I kept positive, and I know I was going through shit, but I couldn't let my wife or my kids see me like that, you know. Then on January 24th was I had to have a bone marrow biopsy, and that's the day I found out that I had leukemia. That's the day that my life changed pretty much. You know, it was hard because my youngest had just turned 1. So I remember it just flashed. I'm like, man, you know, I can't leave them, you know. But everything happens for a reason, you know. One thing about me that I kept positive, and I know I was going through shit, but I couldn't let my wife or my kids see me like that, you know. And yeah, I had to stay in that hospital for 2 weeks before I even went to a higher care facility to start my chemo. So I started my chemo February 5th of 2020 at UCI. I was there for 3 weeks going through chemo. That shit's, it's bad. It makes you feel like shit. I didn't want to eat no more. Fucking, you start getting fever. You just feel like shit. And I had to do 8 rounds of chemo. So each round was going to be 5 days or so. And I was only able to do 4 rounds of chemo because my body couldn't take it. So April of 2020 was the last chemo session I had because my body just couldn't take it. And then and on July 10th, I actually got a bone marrow transplant. My brother was the one that donated the bone marrow, and yeah, I'm in remission. Been in remission since April of 2020, but I had to go through chemo. I had to go through the bone marrow transplant. Even before the bone marrow transplant, the week before, I had to get a real strong chemo, and then I had to go to like radiation. So it was a whole fucking process. I remember I had a big old lump right here because of the radiation. I know I'm bald and stuff, but at the time I kind of had hair, and I felt sad because I saw my whole hair just falling off. I didn't have no eyelashes, no eyebrow, no nothing. Like everything just fell off. And I remember I had a PICC line, so I had to have a PICC line that would put medication through there. And I was going through all kinds of shit. But July of 2020, I got the bone marrow transplant. Then that started a whole new thing. So when you get a bone marrow transplant, it's like if you're a baby again. So I had to get all my vaccines again. Since, you know, all the vaccines that we got as little kids. Yeah. I had to get all that again. So and I'm still getting them till this day. Wow. So yeah. So I couldn't work or anything, you know. So my wife, you know, shout out to my wife. My wife really held it down for us. She was a mom, a dad, and pretty much a soul. You know, she would be my caretaker, and she had to get shit done around the house, you know. She was the one paying the bills, and yeah, man. But it was a tough road, but you know what? I made it, man, and I'm here. You know, I even had it tatted on me right there. Survivor, fight Rob G, fight, and you know it's crazy, but that was really what I was living at. You know, fight Rob G, fight. Like I wasn't gonna let this shit stop me. You know.
All right, so 2 years ago, and man, you know, this is a messed up time in history because not only are you diagnosed with leukemia, but you're diagnosed during a pandemic.
See, it's crazy. I got diagnosed 2 days before Kobe died. So
2020 was
yeah.
fuck.
And then right after, around that same time, you know, that's when we started hearing about the virus, you know, the whole pandemic. So yeah, so it was crazy for me because I was immune compromised. Well, like I'm still immune compromised, but I was immune compromised at that time, like really bad, where we really didn't have anybody over. First of all, because I was immune compromised, and then second of all, there's this fucking pandemic going around, and you know, so it was difficult, but at the same time, like, I had a good support system, you know, my wife, my family, my homies. Moto, one of my homies he would hit me up, you know, just to make sure I was good. I had a lot of my homies that would hit me up. Even Young Easy hit me up a few times. I had a couple of people hit me up just to see if I was good, and yeah, even co-workers, and you know, it was just, I actually felt the love, you know.
That's dope, man. That's probably because you were a good person to them before that even happened.
Yeah.
That's why I try to be good with people, man, because you never, when you're in your most vulnerable, that's when you're gonna need them, dog.
Yeah,
man.
That's true.
Yeah, man. All right, so so you're going through it. What was the hardest part about going through leukemia?
Honestly, not being able to see my kids. There was time when I wouldn't see them for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I didn't see them for 5 weeks, so it's like, you know, shit like that really got to me. And then yeah, it's just, honestly, and you don't feel the same after that. You honestly feel like you're kind of like worthless a little bit, but you know, because you're always getting sick, you know, because you're going through chemo. So it's like, but you're not worthless, you know. There's actually a reason for you to be here, and yeah, and I'm still here, you know. This is actually my second chance at life, so you know, I just gotta live it up.
Does, forgive my ignorance on this, but is it in your past, or is it something that could pop up again?
They're telling me that, you know, this could pop up, but they're telling me that you know, because I'm always going to go get checked up and checkup and stuff. And they're telling me that it looks like I'll be good, but there's always that possibility of you know. But I did got a bone marrow transplant, so the possibility of it coming back is only a 15% chance, which it's better than what I had before. But yeah, but we're here, and you know, we're just doing the best we can do, you know.
I have a very strong relationship with my brother. He's one of my favorite people in the whole world. And if he was going through what you were going through, I would definitely give up whatever limb, whatever body part it would take to keep him alive. Can you talk to your brother, or talk about your brother doing that for you?
Yeah, man. So, me growing up, my brother has always been like my dad. One of the reasons why I never really got into like hoods and stuff was also because my brother would kick my ass, you know. He was always like on top of me, like, hey, you know, you better do shit good in school and shit like that. And I remember when we're close, but we don't really talk about like personal shit. But I remember when I started going through chemo, like, that's the first time he told me, like, I love you and shit like that, you know. And then when he found out that I needed a transplant, he was like, well, let me see if I'm able to do it, you know. So he went to go do all the testing and stuff, and yeah, so he was a match. So he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And, but yeah, man.
Yeah, that's deep, dude. Shout out to your brother, man. You made it through. It was a rough time. When did you realize, you know what, it's time to get back to business?
You know what? Actually, when I was hospitalized to get my transplant, was when I started writing again, and I'm like, it's time. So I had time, you know. So I had a lot of beats, and I was in my hospital room. Just remember, the nurses already knew me. You know, they would walk in, they'll be like, oh, are you writing something? I'm like, yeah. Because, you know, I always had like beats on, and I was, you know, Yo soy el cabrón con la pluma y el papel. Bell Gardens is what I represent. El 323, el 562. Cabrones, stay quiet cuando oigan mi voz. Against all odds, I walk it down these halls. Standing tall, I won't fall. Head above all, posted like walls. Showing my draws, grabbing my balls. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. It takes heart to make these tunes. If I wanna make it, I have to take it that run. I'm second to none. 90201. Bell Gardens is where I'm from. It reads Rob G on my motherfucking necklace. Reppy Kelly, yo, it ain't Texas. I'm currently working on a project on my second album, you could say. It's gonna be called Fight Rob G Fight, and I'm almost done with the project. I just have a few more songs to go.
Right now, there's somebody watching this video who is going through what you were going through 2 years and a couple of months ago. What would you like to say to them? Maybe give them some words of encouragement.
Don't give up. Everything happens for a reason. You know, there's a reason why you're still here. Just don't give up.
Yeah. And you have a show coming up on
May 6th.
May 6th. Talk to us about that show, where it's at.
It's gonna be at the Green Turtle in Whittier. It's pretty much a celebration, you know. 2 years of not doing this, 2 years of fighting, and it's time to celebrate. I'm gonna be having, the headliner would be Glasses Malone. I'm also gonna have, you know, my homie Immortal One of Soul City Advocate. I'm gonna have Gangster Rick, Block Life, of course myself. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Me and my wife are gonna be there as well. Shit, we're probably not even 10 minutes away from there.
Cool.
From where we're standing right now. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing you rock the crowd, man, and celebrating your second chance at life, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Any shout outs you want to give?
You know what? I want to give a shout out to my wife. I want to give a shout out to everybody in BEG, Still Banging Music, Soul City Advocates, Block Life, Gangster Rick, everybody that's been down with me. You know, it's just too many to say, but everybody that's been down with me, you know who you are. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
Dusty Vision for having me here too, you know. Shout out.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Appreciate you being here and sharing your story, man.
Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace.